What's up guys, welcome to episode 14 of the trading calls. In today's video we're going to talk about Bybit. Bybit is an exchange where I trade crypto on, and it's maybe the #1 exchange in the world to trade crypto, spot or perpetual, doesn't matter. So in this video we're going to cover that, and we're not going to cover everything about Bybit, not everything you see on the screen. So this is not a full Bybit tutorial which is going to last 1 hour, just how to create an account, how to deposit money, how to see your trades, and how to execute your trades. Of course, that you do it right. Surely as a beginner you don't want to lose money and time searching what to do, so that's why this video is there. Like and subscribe as always, I really appreciate that, and let's get into the video. So first step is of course creating an account. That is the most easy thing, everyone can do this. You go to Bybit, link is in the description, very easy, just click on it and then you create an account. Just your email, password, I believe maybe you have to select the country you're in and some more things. Of course, and it's an exchange where you're going to trade, so it's not just a random shopping site, you get what I mean. Then you go to this platform on Bybit, and then of course you can go to your profile over here, overview. And now when you have your account you have to complete KYC. You may have already heard me talking about KYC. KYC stands for Know Your Customer. I can't disable a white screen, unfortunately there is no dark mode. Know your customer, so you have to of course verify your identity. You can do that by your ID card or your driver's license, maybe in some countries. Takes 2 to 5 minutes, or you have to also send a picture, so with a camera, or maybe do it on your phone if you don't have a camera on your PC. It takes some time, and maybe sometimes to validate it takes a day, but as you can see estimated approval is 5 minutes, so it shouldn't take long, but if you're unlucky it can take up to 1 or 2 days. But again, that's just the first time, the only time if you do that, so surely do that, and you have to do it because otherwise you can't trade and deposit money onto the platform. So that's what you have to do. I also advise you guys to enable 2FA immediately, that you have the code and that no one can get into your account with only the mail and the password, because of course this account is with your money, with your crypto maybe if you invest, so you don't want to have this easily hacked or getting leaked by others. Bybit and other crypto exchanges do have some data leaks frequently, so surely just enable 2FA for your own safety. I know it's annoying, you have to fill in the code every time you log in, but of course that's not every day, just once in a while when you go back to the platform, so surely do that just for your own safety. That was a lot of blah blah blah. So after you've made the account, completed KYC, you go to assets, you can click on here and you see your asset overview. Obviously this is not my main account, this is another account to show you guys the video. You see I have 0 USD in the balance. How to get money on the platform. This is something people overcomplicate way too much. They say, oh, there are tons of beginner mistakes, you have to do this exactly. This is very easy and going to be very straightforward. You can deposit money just from fiat money, so from your bank, or you can deposit crypto if you have crypto on other exchange or somewhere, just through the blockchain. You have your funded and unified trading accounts, wallets. I'll explain that later in the video. But how do you deposit money? This is something very simple. Surely these days Bybit made it very simple for people. You go here in the assets menu, you see deposit right here, and then if you have crypto you choose deposit crypto, you choose the coin, of course the right chain, because this is something very important. People forget that, let's do USDT. And the chain, make sure you have the right chain, so look at your other wallet which chain you're using, and of course the coin, but that's obvious. If you don't have crypto, you want to deposit, you can do it with Visa, MasterCard, or you can do it with your bank. Of course P2P is not really, you can do it as well, you can look at it yourself, but that's not really optimal in my opinion. Deposit euros or dollars, of course, British pounds. So you choose the amount. Of course for your first time you may want to be careful and just start with 20 euros, $20 to see if it's actually working, if you have everything set, and then if you want to start trading with $1,000 or tens of thousands of dollars, then you do it in a second time, because otherwise you might make a mistake, and with that amount that can be pretty painful. So SEPA is the method. Of course you continue, you see there's a small fee, but that's everything. Of course I can show it right now because I have to complete KYC, but it's very easy. Y'all have probably all already made a payment through your bank. Of course you have to scan a QR code and fill in some things, the description, very easy. Just make sure you don't mess up the description, of course, or the address of their bank account, but that's of course just pay attention 1 minute and then you have it. It's not something you have to stress about or spend a lot of time doing so. So that was already the deposit thing. Something very important which many people don't want to say struggle, but yeah, lose some time with. If you deposit that money and deposit this in your account, of course surely the first time it can take maybe a day or two to validate, and maybe your bank can even call it, because the Bybit thing is located in, I think, somewhere Eastern European, I think Estonia, Lithuania, something. and the first time I deposited only I think 300 euros, and they called my bank already. Why do you want to make that payment to that country? So if you get a call from the bank, yeah, they're watching you, but it doesn't really matter. Just so you know, that's not a scam call or anything. If you deposit something, it's in your funding account. Funding account is a good account, I guess, but for trading, for perpetual trading with leverage, we wanted to have it in the unified trading account. Very simple. You go to here, transfer from your funding account to unified trading the coin that you have, of course, and then the amount. If you press I'll confirm, and then in one click it's in your unified trading account. One thing I may forgot to mention is, of course, if you deposit money, you have euros or dollars, you have fiat money, you need that into USDT, because we're going to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, all other coins against USDT. So how do you do that? That's very simple. You just go to your funding account, and then you can see all different coins here, and then you just I think you can click buy here if you have money, or just transfer. It's very easy to find out. You won't struggle with that, but that's just something I forgot to say. Of course, you deposit euros or dollars if you deposit from your bank, then you have to set it to USDT Tether, and then you have it into your funding, and then as I mentioned, you have to transfer to unified trading. If you're a beginner, this might sound a lot. It's really not complicated. In a year or once you're experienced, you say, oh, this is peanuts. So don't be scared, don't be stressed that you're going to lose money by some minor mistakes. If you just double check the things I mentioned, you're going to have no problems. But a lot of waffling about the depositing, the money thing, about making the account. Already talking a lot now, how do I execute trades and how do you trade on this platform, which is of course the most important part of the video. So before we go into that section, I quickly want to mention that like TradingView, we talked about TradingView a couple of episodes ago. There are a lot of things to do on here. Market trade tools, you can see all these sort of things, finance. I don't even use 90% of them because I'm only on Bybit to trade and sometimes invest, spot trading for the longer run and not just day trading. But that's it, I don't need any of that. And of course, these things can be useful. And if you want more info about that, there might be another Bybit video on the channel where we cover more or everything on the platform by now. Or you have to watch another video, ask ChatGPT. That's not what this video is for, as mentioned. So we go to trade, and you see spot and futures. These are the only two things here that I need. You can also trade options, of course, whatever. We're not using that. We're either using spot or futures. The difference is if you're spot trade, that's more likely, more investing, but you can also spot trade with leverage. Leverage, of course, mentioned a couple of videos ago. If you're still struggling with that, maybe watch that video again. Spot is maybe for the long run more, and spot is you actually buy the asset. So I'm actually buying Bitcoin or Ethereum, while if you trading futures, you just don't really buy the asset. You're just buying a contract that tracks the price of the asset. Spot trading and futures trading is very simple. It's basically the same thing. You go to this menu, and again, first look might look like a lot. Because this is a new account, I'll get a tutorial. You can maybe watch it if you're new. It might look like a lot, but it is really easy. So of course you see the price chart, but we don't really need that because we do our analysis on TradingView, as I mentioned. So here you can track price, and you also have a 1 second time frame on here if you want that. This is the order book, but you don't really have to pay attention to that. You have to pay attention to this section here where you're going to buy and sell, and maybe the section below where your orders and your positions will be shown. Now, as mentioned, this is the same with spot, as you see right here. We're going to futures because this is where you trade with 50x leverage, 100x leverage, or just day trade. You can also do that at spot, I guess, but that's not really optimal. So same thing here, you just see the same thing, but now you see here USDT perpetual. That's what we want. But of course, you need to have USDT in your unified trading wallet on the platform. But we explained that earlier in the video. That's very, very simple. So I'm actually going to switch to my other account right now where I have some money, so I can actually show you how to go into the trade and how to execute the trade. Alright, I'm back on the other account, and nothing has changed normally. Everything is still the same because it's still just TradingView. As you can see, you have trade option here. One thing I want to mention, I'm not going to explain everything in depth, but this is important. Of course, you see leverage here, the price, value. We'll go through all of that to how to execute my trade. But this is something very important because this is just a set preference or a set thing that is there for every trade. You have three options: isolated, across portfolio, and you also always have to do isolated. Surely as a beginner, what does this mean? If you get liquidated, you know what liquidated is by now. You just lose the money in the trade. But if you use cross, you can actually lose all the money on your account, because if it keeps dropping, it just keeps adding money from your account and not just only from the trade. So for example, if you use cross and you accidentally do something stupid and you get liquidated, and then you don't pay attention and price drops even further, you can lose all the money in your account, not only on your trade. But again, this is very important. Just set it like that, and you can only lose the amount of money you put into the trade. That's all. Of course, you can change your leverage here, but now I'm going to explain how I execute price. Sorry for the repetition. So after you made your analysis on TradingView, of course, because we're not doing it on here, or we're not going to Bybit and say, yeah, let's long, let's short here. You look at a setup. Of course, I want to long or short at this price. So we go to limit. Market order is just we buy now at current market price, but we don't do that in our strategy. We go to set price. So for example, price is at what? 89,000 something. We want to long at 89,000. This is our analysis. Of course, this comes from TradingView. Then, of course, we calculated our position size. Full video made on that, and of course, if you haven't checked that out yet, surely check that out. Then we see, oh, we have to do a value of 2,000 USDT. Then you can see here the quantity, so that's 0.022 Bitcoin, and the cost is $42. This $42 is from my account, that is margin. If we play with the leverage, so for example, now we're on 50 leverage, if we go to 25x leverage, you see that our margin changes. We just have to put in more money out of our own pocket and less leverage. But this does not change our entry. As you see, this does not change our position size or value of the trade, and that's the most important thing. People still think leverage calculates how much money you're risking, how much money you can make, but that's not true. It only affects the amount of margin you have to put in yourself, and of course your liquidation level. So again, misconception proven wrong. This is only for your leverage and has nothing to do with your potential take profit, stop loss, or position size. Okay, before I long, I always set my TP and stop loss already. You can do it after you're in the position, but why not do it already? So TP here, TP stop loss, you check this, and then you see here TP. Trigger price, we want to long to $90,000. And we want to set our stop loss at $88,500. Now you see with this trade, I can, if trade hits TP, I earn $22. If trade hits stop loss, I have $11. Let's confirm that. And now you see here, trigger price, it's enabled. Now basically we've done everything because we set in the entire trade. Make sure of course to see what your maximum leverage can be. If your stop loss is 1%, of course you can use a maximum of 100 leverage, but if your stop loss is 10%, don't use more than 10x leverage, but we explained that in the position size video and the leverage video. That's not for now. So now basically you don't have to post only, change anything here, look at here, nothing. You can just long now. Where's price? We can long. Now you see order submitted, and now you can see here down below, I will scroll down, in our open orders you see our Bitcoin, USDT, buy, so long at $89,000, order value, TP, stop loss, long, all of that. And now of course if you zoom out here as well, you see at $89,000 you see limit order ready for our trade. And this is everything I do. So when I make an analysis on TradingView, I calculate my position size, fill it in right here. Very easy, it happens in like 10 seconds. And then you can trade very, very easy with your position here. And once price hits your order, of course it gets filled, as it's called, and then it goes to positions. Now how to set a partial TP, which is very useful because now we've set a TP and stop loss, but that's 100%. Partial TPs are very interesting because you can have runners, but that's not something you can do before you enter the trade. That's only available when you're in the position. So I can't show that right now, but for the sake of it, you're going to cancel this. You can cancel it here. We're going to go to market, and we're going to enter, of course not with a big amount because we're just going to gamble here. I'm going to enter the trade. Let's stop loss, but a big stop loss, 89,000 and 95,000, doesn't really matter. Confirm, long. Of course, it was a marked order, so we're immediately in a position. You can see the B from buy here, and you can see our profit and loss. Of course, we're in a very small position, so this is very, very small. Now, how to set a partial take profit? You go to, of course, positions. You have to scroll, so use the scroll here. And then you see TP and stop loss, you change this, and then now you can see partial position. So you go here, there's a quantity, so let's say 75% of the trade, 70 doesn't want, at $91,000, and you see we make $7, and then we still have of course 25% of the trade open. We confirm this, and then we have a partial TP, which is very nice. If you want to manually close the trade, of course, most of the traders wait until price either hits TP or stop loss. You can just see positions, and you can just either market or limit orders. So market orders close by is just confirm and it immediately closes, or limit orders just basically you set a price like TP or stop loss. But if you want to close it, you just press market order and use confirm, and the order is closed. And now we can go to trade history, and we can see right here that our trade was filled value, trading fee of course was 9 cents. You have to pay a trading fee, close of long. Very simple. Mine sounded like a lot. I'll make a quick summary again. Just go to trade futures, very simple. You make sure you get isolated, limit, then you set the price you want to enter, the value of the trade after you calculate your position size, and then you also just have to adjust your leverage sometimes, but your leverage does not change anything about your value of the trade, about your position size, only about the amount of margin and your liquidation level. And then you can set TP and stop loss before you enter the trade if you want, and then just long or short. Very simple and very easy. So that was about how you execute your trades. Very simple. If you ask me, it might sound like a lot, it might sound a bit confusing, but maybe rewatch a video, just try it out yourself, maybe small position size, and play with it yourself until you are comfortable enough to trade for full positions. Last thing about this video is where you can see your profit and losses, where to see all that data, how many trades you took, what's your win rate, etc. Let me show that right now. This is very simple. I'm back on my order account of course, but you go to orders, unified trading orders, and then you can see everything here. Of course, you go to futures because we're trading futures. You can say open orders, but of course, if you're interested in the trade history, you'll see your entire history here, and of course the P&L, profit and losses, because there you can also like share the picture of your profit and loss to prove, or maybe have it into your journal. So trade history is also useful, but P&L is the best. You can also see, of course, the profit and loss, opening fee, the fees that you paid, and the quantity of the trade. And you can also, somewhere here, I don't know on top of my head, can also see stats like your win rate, your hit rate, what assets you made the most money on, which assets you lost the most amount of money on. So very useful. That is just for free on your exchange, that you don't have to have an external journal or anything needed for that. That's very useful and very nice from Bybit. But for now, that was the video. As mentioned, I hope now you're a bit more familiar with Bybit, that you can make an account yourself, that you can verify yourself, and that you can deposit yourself and just know where you can trade. Maybe it's not smooth already, but that's something you have to learn. I learned it, I lost money by doing it. So yeah, I just made this video. You don't have to lose money. I'll already save you loads of time by just making the account, because there are a lot of tutorials online, believe me or not, that are an hour long or overcomplicating or anything like that. This was very straightforward, surely at the start. So that was it, guys. This was episode 14. If you made it so far, you're doing very well. Episode 50 will be not be a banger, but will be a very important final note, and then you finish the full course. So surely keep on going, and I'll see you guys in that episode. Bye.